Start off by lying down. When you're lying down on your back, have your knees bent and your feet on the floor. Have a couple breaths here. You can let your hands rest on your body while you do this. And then gather your knees into your chest. Hold on to your kneecaps with your hands, and with your arms straight, this will be your end range of motion. As you exhale, pull your knees in closer to your chest. And as you inhale, let your knees float away. Do this movement a few more times. You might notice your low back gently arch and then lengthen, or your pelvis rocking against the floor, maybe a stretch in your thighs and your hips. The next time your knees float away from you, let go of your knees and let your feet come back down onto the floor. Rock your pelvis towards you so that you press your low back into the ground. Start to lift your hips up as you reach your tailbone in between your thighs. Peel your spine off the floor and then lower back down. Try to land your pelvis last. We're going to do that again. So rock your pelvis towards you, feel your low back press into the floor, and then start to peel your pelvis, your low back, your mid back up off the floor, and then roll your spine back down again. And you can try doing this with your feet a little bit wider apart. See how that feels different. And try doing this with your feet almost touching. Next time your pelvis lands on the floor, heel toe your feet wider apart so that they're just a little bit wider than hip distance apart. And then rock your knees from side to side. I like to interlace my fingers and reach overhead here to get even more length on my sides as I do this rocking motion. Now rock your knees over to the right and roll over onto your right side. Have a couple breaths here. And then start to slide your legs together so that your knees stack. You can bring your left hand in front of you to sort of help support and stabilize you on the floor. You can bend your right elbow to make a little pillow for your head, or if you have a blanket or a pillow, actual pillow nearby, you can put that underneath your head. With your legs stacked, knees bent, see if you can just lift that top leg, foot and knee, without rocking your pelvis. It's almost as if this is the only movable joint in your body. Do that again. Lift and lower your leg, slow and smooth. We're going to try to do 2 or 3 more. When you're finished, bring your left leg out in front of you and sweep your left arm back behind you. So to create this sort of big sprawling diagonal shape on the floor, have a couple breaths like this. And then sweep your arm back in front of you. Bend your left knee and stack your legs again. This time you're going to keep your knees together and just lift up your foot. Lower back down. And then do that again. Keep doing that movement slow and steady. Let's try to do 2 or 3 more. All right. This time, we're going to reach that left leg behind us and that left arm out in front, doing another sort of sprawling diagonal shape here. And then keep reaching that left foot behind you like you're trying to reach something a little bit further away. Pull yourself back onto your back. And you'll probably land in some sort of ragdoll sprawling position. Go ahead and just hang out here for a few breaths. And then readjust your body. So if you kind of rolled off of your work surface or mat, go ahead and readjust. You might move the pillow out from underneath your head here if it feels like it's lifting your head up a little bit high for being on your back. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Again, I like to interlace my fingers and reach overhead as I rock those knees from side to side. We're going to do that whole thing over again on the other side. So the next time that your knees are over to the left, rock over onto your left side and have a couple breaths here. And then bring your hand in front of you. Adjust your legs so that your knees are stacked, legs are bent. You can use your left arm as a pillow for your head, or you can grab that pillow or blanket. And without rocking your pelvis, see if you can just lift up that top leg, knee and ankle. And then lower back down. Do it again. Continue with that movement, slow and steady. Let's try to do 2 or 3 more. When you're finished, reach your right leg out in front of you and reach your right arm back behind you. Have a couple breaths here. Sweep your arm back in front of you. Bend your right knee, stack your legs. This time keep your knee together and lift up your foot. Lower your foot back down. Do that again. Continue with that movement, slow and steady. Try to do 2 or 3 more. When you're finished, bring your right leg behind you as you reach your right arm out in front of you. Have a couple breaths in this position. And then keep reaching your right foot back behind you until you pull yourself back onto your back. Have a moment here. And then readjust your feet. Readjust your body. Maybe you scoot yourself back onto your mat. Gather your knees into your chest, and this time give your legs a hug. Hug them into your body. You can rock from side to side here. You can rock from side to side with your head up by your knees. If you're feeling particularly energetic today, you can tuck your hands behind your legs and rock up onto your booty, and then around your back and roll back onto your back. Whoops! And maybe I'll leave that off for now. Whatever you prefer, we're preparing to transition into a hands and knees position. So either way, roll up onto your booty, or if you're practicing this lying on the ground and rocking from side to side, you can rock over to one side and press yourself up. I like to have something soft underneath my knees for hands and knees work, so you can grab your blanket or your pillow and put that underneath your knees here. When you come to hands and knees, resist gravity. Push the floor away with your hands. Reach your tailbone back so you feel like this whole center torso part of your body is pulling away from the floor. Step your right foot back and your left hand forward, finger and toe touching the ground, still resisting gravity. You can stay like this, or you can lift your hand and leg and then lower them back down. You can lift and stay. Keep on breathing. Lower your hand and your knee back down onto the floor. Push the ground away. You can shift your hips back towards your heels to take some of the weight out of your wrists. And then come back up to hands and knees. We're going to do it on the other side. So step your left leg back. Reach your right hand forward, resisting gravity through your torso here. Your toe and your finger are touching the floor. And you could stay like this and breathe. Or you could lift your arm and leg and then lower them. Or you could lift your arm and leg and stay. Keep on breathing. All right, lower your hand and your knee back down. Push the floor away, round your back. Shift your hips towards your heels. Take some of the weight out of your wrists. And we'll transition to a prone position, and that's belly on the floor. I'm going to unfold my blanket here to create a little bit of a flatter surface for me to lie down on. And when you get down onto your belly, stack your hands and let your forehead rest on your hands. So there's a little gap here for your nose. And we're just going to lie here and breathe. And it might feel like there's not a lot of space to breathe with the floor pressing against your chest and your tummy, but can you invite that breath into the back side of your body, maybe into the back of your rib cage, maybe into the base of your pelvis? Reach one arm forward out in front of you. Bend the opposite knee and let your foot fall in so it crosses over your other leg. Reach that foot beyond that leg so as to start to roll over on the floor. When you get onto your back, just come to wherever you fall. And if you like, you can readjust and get yourself back onto your mat. Find a comfortable position in which to rest and lie down. You can have your body flat against the floor, or maybe you have your knees bent with your feet on the ground. And with your head resting against the surface, either the floor or maybe that pillow or folded blanket, nod your head yes. So without lifting your head off the ground, just letting that chin come towards your throat and then lift away. And then rock your head from right to left shoulder, just rolling the back of your head against the floor. And then let your head come back to a neutral, centered position. And rest. You can pause the video now and set your own timer to rest as long as you feel that you have time for, as long as you need, or as long as you like.